Hey there, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful day in your corner of the world. I hope that you had a very Merry Christmas, if that's what you celebrate, or any other holiday that you celebrate, or maybe you don't celebrate any holidays and you just chill all day and take advantage of the time off that we get this time of the year. I hope you've been able to enjoy your time either with family or friends or just with yourself. I haven't been able to film a video because I've been with people and I've been, going out and about, but I've been good. Just trying to reflect on everything that has happened this year. This is probably going to be my last video of the year because I don't think I'm going to have time to film a video. Right now I'm alone and I have a little bit of time to film, but I don't think I'm going to have that time later. And I also don't have service, so I take advantage of this time. Anyway, I've just been trying to reflect on all of the things that have happened this year and all the growth that has occurred to me and as a collective. I feel that as a collective species, as a Homo sapien species, we have been through some challenges this year. All of us, in all parts of the world, in any corner of the world that you find yourself in, we've been through some things because this year has been particularly challenging. If you're from the States, everything has gone upside down. It's been a very turbulent year that most of us, if not all of us that are alive right now, we haven't experienced this kind of malarkey that we're seeing right now, or any part of the world. But, you can say that about every time period that has ever existed. People from the Black Plague probably thought that the world was going to end, and it was the end of times. And, back in the day, they didn't have as many scientific advancements, so they would say that it's the end of times, and then, historical events have happened throughout the centuries that have made the world feel like it's going to end, made this world a hostile place to live in. People that were living in World War I, World War II, Vietnam War, people don't realize how these wars really divided people. We say that we're divided right now, but it's been an issue. The issue of taking sides has been around for hundreds of years. This is not new. The only difference, I think, is that we're more connected now. We have more access to what other people are thinking, other people's opinions. We have the internet now, and so we can see the division. It's more stark. You can see it more, right? Whereas back in the day, it was only your community that you could see divided, or if you had the newspaper, you could read about what was happening in New York or how people in New York, but then again, that was biased. And I mean, nowadays we have the internet, we have all these apps, especially social media, which is where people usually consume their news nowadays. And it's through a biased lens, and a lot of the information is not objective, because that's impossible. Anybody that is creating any kind of media is always going to have some sort of bias, right? So anyway, my point is the division is more conspicuous now. You can see it more, but this is not new. And all I can say is that it's okay to have a different opinion. It's okay to think differently, and obvious, common sense, we're not the same. And that's a blessing that we all get to experience this world in a different way. I can put an extreme example. Somebody that is blind experiences the world very differently than somebody that has vision. Somebody can see. But can the person that can see, are they experiencing the world more vividly, and are they experiencing the world more passionately than somebody that can't see? Or is that something that we believe that just because you have vision or you're able to walk or you're able to do certain things, that you're somehow able to experience the world more passionately? I can't think of the word right now. It just more presently. Can you be more present in this moment through the more things that you have, the more things that you can experience, like your vision, your hearing, being able to walk or being able to move around, right? I met this guy a couple of days ago, and he had bow legs, and he was walking around, but he had the biggest smile ever. He was the sun. He was such, I can't explain it. He was such a, a beautiful light in the room. And you may say, oh, poor guy, he can't walk well. But the man was happy. The man was experiencing this world. He was really present. And that's what made me think about, well, just because I can walk, just because I can see and others can't see, does that mean that I experience the world more passionately, more vividly than somebody that doesn't have these qualities? Or do I take my, I don't know what word to use, but my abilities or certain things that I have, certain extras that I have, do I take those for granted? And I do take those for granted. And I think we, as humans, all of us, the more we have, the more things we take for granted. And so going back to our society being divided and whatnot, I think this next year, all of us have to, as an individual, we have to see the things that we have right now. And that doesn't mean that we ignore the things that are wrong in the world, like the injustices that occur, or the wars that are happening, and not advocating to end the massacres that are happening around the world. That doesn't mean that you ignore other people's suffering. It just means that you're grateful for what you have, and being more present in this moment. And how do you do that? That's difficult. I mean, some people, I know people that meditate, and they meditate, they go to retreats. I know this one girl, she goes to ashrams for like 20 days and silent retreats and 10 hours of meditation every day. And she does that like once or twice a year. But she's still blinded by her own illusions, right? She still has a lot of things that she has to work on, just like all of us. And I'm not judging her, but just like all of us, just because, what I'm trying to say is, just because you meditate, just because you do yoga, just because you do that, this, that, whatever it is, it doesn't mean that you are free from the illusions of this dimension, of this simulation, that we identify with the drama, with this body, and that we get involved with the things of this world. But when we become present in this moment and we let go of the drama of this life, we're able to see things from a different perspective, a clearer perspective. And that perspective is that, and how, as corny as this sounds, we are all one and we're all connected. And by we are all one, we are all connected. Although that sounds hippy dippy and oh my God, yes, 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 like, yeah, everybody knows that we're all one, doesn't just mean we're all one with the good people. It means we're all one. We are all connected with everything. And that means everything, not just the good that exists in this world, but also the bad. All the evil human beings that have existed in this world, we're connected to them too. All the people that have done some terrible atrocities, or all the things that we repudiate, we're connected to that too. And that's a very, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm kind of lost for words right now, but that's a realization that really shakes you, because you don't want to connect yourself to something that's bad, or that's something that we perceive as bad, right? You want to connect yourself with the good things in the world. But when you realize that we all suffer, every human being, doesn't matter how, and I mean, I could name names of people out there that are doing some terrible things to others. All the things that we repudiate from others, we're connected to them too. And they suffer. They suffer hard too. And that doesn't mean you give them a slap on the wrist or you justify what they're doing. There's no justification to that. But when we realize that we all suffer and that we all shed tears, I mean, some people don't cry. And I was talking about this a couple of weeks ago. Even psychopaths suffer. You know, the ability of not being, or the inability to not being able to connect with others, to feeling isolated, to not being able to have any compassion or empathy with others. That must be hard. That must be a very isolating life. And you know, who knows what this child had to go through to shut themselves from those emotions, shut themselves out of those emotions. But when we realize that we all suffer, it helps us to cultivate a little bit of compassion for those that we disapprove of, right? It's difficult. And it's difficult to see that we're connected to those people. But I think the beauty of being alive is that you can see the bad, evil, these are subjective words, right? But you can see the things that, you know, other people do to harm others. And you could say, no, I don't want to be that way. I want to make a difference. I want to be different. I want to lead by example, not stoop myself to their level. And I think this next year, I have to think about, I don't really set any New Year's resolutions, but I think this next year, I usually, what I do is every year has a theme word. So the theme of this year was trust. A couple of years ago, it was faith. And I don't know what this next year will be, what the theme of next year will be, but maybe it's compassion. I'm learning to cultivate compassion, learning to be compassionate, not just to the people that are angels, but to those that inflict suffering, having compassion for those people because they suffer too. And they may not feel that, but trust me, being isolated of this world must be hard. It must be difficult, knowing that if you lose your platform, if you lose your power, if you lose your upper hand, that you kind of lose the grip that you have on the world. So realizing that we're all connected, that we all have some baggage that we carry. We all have our cross that we carry. You know, I'm not a Christian, but I've read the Bible. I grew up as a Catholic, and I know things, and I feel like the archetype of Jesus, the story of Jesus, is a very powerful story. The fact that we all carry our burden, we all carry our cross, right? And we're trying to take it up to Calvary, and eventually 3 days later, Jesus rises from the dead. You know, there are all these metaphors, but we all carry our cross, we all carry our suffering, we all carry our wounds. But then we find a Simon out there that helps us with our cross, that helps us with our suffering. And they may not carry the cross for us, because Simon didn't help Jesus carry the cross all the way up to Calvary, but he helped him for a good stretch of the way up to Calvary. And we have to realize that all of us carry a cross. All of us carry suffering. And what we have to do is try and cultivate compassion for ourselves, for the things that we go through, and cultivate compassion for others. And if we have the ability to help others along the way, help them with their cross for a good stretch of the way, then we should do that. We should learn to help others too. But first, help ourselves. Sometimes the cross gets a little heavy, so we have to take a little break, right? And sometimes you get whipped, right? Just like Jesus got whipped. But we have to keep on trucking. And it's easier said than done. And sometimes it sounds trite to say all of this, but it's true. I feel like life is simpler than we think it is. And certain platitudes, they sound corny, but they don't, it doesn't mean that they're not true, right? So try to cultivate compassion for others. Try to be more present in this moment. Cultivate compassion for yourself. Learn to be a more loving person, not just to others, but to yourself, because you can't pour from an empty cup, right? You have to learn to do that for yourself first. And how you do that is something that you have to figure out. Because, I mean, I could tell you my strategies, but that may not work for you, right? So I hope you have an amazing year next year, and I wish you all the best in your corner of the world. I don't know if I'll continue to make videos next year. Definitely not every day, or I don't know. But I wish you all the best in your life, on your journey, and yeah, have a great year. Peace and love. Bye.